What's up, everyone? Thanks for joining another real-time edit. This one's going to be a fun one, although not a lot to do to it, but a real fun image here. Got this common loon that I photographed during my loon workshop this past summer, and yeah, obviously didn't nail the level aspect of this too good, but I love seeing this wake kind of coming out from the bird. Now, here's the deal, right? I don't know if that wake should be actually level or if it was angling towards me. So one of the things I'll do sometimes is I'll actually just lighten up the exposure, and now I can see the kind of in focus water line there, and I'll just drag through the middle of that. Looks like that's about it. And then let's reset it back down to where I shot it. And so you can see I was full manual on this one. But in any case, I severely underexposed it to get the look I want, which was I just wanted this bird and that wake lit in this basically sea of black, you know? So something like that feels pretty well balanced to me. All right, yeah, there's a couple of little things in there. But I mean, look, like if I had exposed it, lighter like that for everything, it would be pretty weird, I think. Not weird, but a totally different feeling. And so yeah, this is something I try to teach when I'm doing these workshops. Is there's a lot of different looks you can get out of photos. I mean, this would be a fine exposure and still a little dramatic. You can get some of the tone back there and everything. But to me, having it like right at a camera just like that, where it's just like all about the accent, like just barely seeing the black head, and I'm gonna make it better. But this is just straight out of the camera. This is to me where it's at. All right, so there's a good bit of blue in the shadow area there, which I'm not a fan of. So I'm going to warm the white balance more, which will exaggerate that warm yellow sun coming in. And then I might actually turn the wake line blue in post, or in Photoshop, I should say. All right, and so I do want to kind of kick up these highlights and these, like these. There we go. Right, I want to make everything on the loon stand out a little bit more, but I don't want anything more anywhere else in the image. And so this is where having a real good, like, calibrated screen is going to let you dial in exactly what you want and where you want it, right? Because I don't think I necessarily need or want to see the left side of the loon's head. It's okay if that falls away. I just like, you get the general shape of it there. And I think that's going to do really good for me. I will throw a big old wide radial on this thing right around the bird there, and then I'm just going to fully black out the rest of this for the most part there. I'll lift it up so it's a little bit softer transition, and then I'll kind of complete that look in Photoshop. All right, so into Photoshop we go, and let's see if we can make this thing just a little bit better. There's still some weird cyan colors happening in the shadows there, which I don't like at all. And then I'll probably do some selective dodging and burning. So let's clone first. It's kind of cool to see these dragonflies and stuff flying around, but I think that to me right now, they're just kind of visual distractions in this image because I want this thing to be as simplistic as possible. So any of these spots, I'm just going to kind of use the spot healing brush here. How appropriate, right? Removing spots and just kind of clean them up. Anything that's like real obnoxious. Whoa, I don't know what happened there. Oh, come on. See, every once in a while that tool's just stupid. So you got to do it. You got to do it the old school way, manually, with the clone tool. All right, so that's pretty good. Now I'm going to fully black out that background, right? So I'm moving the black point down, and I'll put a point on the curve, okay? So then I just need to bring it back on the bird here, and I'll overlap it so then I can figure out where it is I want to go with this. So now you can see, like, where, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I can actually see the difference between this background and the like that area where I darkened and where I didn't. And so if you can't see that, I would say you're viewing it on a screen that isn't maybe fully calibrated properly, or your screen might be too dark. In any case, like, just seeing those subtle variations, I think, is such an important part of having a good monitor to edit on, and good conditions, right? Because this same setup here, even if I was using the same screen with nothing changed, if I was in a room with a lot of light, it would severely change what I'm seeing here. So to me, that's kind of an important part of this editing process. And I actually am in a room with a little bit more light than I normally would like, but I think it's still controlled quite nicely. All right, so I'm going to use a little bit softer brush now for around these reflection areas because I don't want that to be quite as hard an edge. And then I'm just going to view it like this, clean up any areas that I missed, and then we should be good to go. All right, now we have our nice, totally black background. It is starting to affect some of this, the wake line there. So I'm going to remove it off of that because I do want that whole wake line to stand out pretty much as much as possible, right? That's a big, important part. This line is a huge part of this image because it kind of, to me, it, for lack of a better term, right, it grounds the bird, even though I know the bird's in water. It grounds the bird to something, you know, it connects it to water. Whereas if I didn't have that, and I'm going to put a little bit more of that right in there. If it didn't have that, it's just in a sea of black. And then I think it looks like, to me, it would look a little bit more weird. And so this gives the indication of where this bird came from, where it's going, right? There's some motion direction to it. And I really like that. All right, so let's start fixing color. You can see this horrible cyan in there. So probably going to have to ditch the cyans and the blues. There we go. Yeah, combination of the two. I'm just going to paint it in on the bird there because I don't want to remove it, any of the color that's in that water there. That's really weird. Look how yellow that is, those spots back there. That's really weird. I don't know what that's all about. I'm going to get rid of that too because they should be kind of white in the background there. So I don't know if that's just, I don't know what that is, just a weird artifact of the way I edited it. All right, so now we'll do some dodging. I do have this selection kind of already cut out there, so I'll load that up, and then I can kind of dodge along that edge, a little bit in there. The bill doesn't need much more. We'll make that red eye stand out just a little bit more, hit some of these lighter white spots just to kind of make them stand out. I'll attack that color pattern, the grid, in a second there, and then boy, gosh, I think that's about it. Actually, I don't need to do a lot, just a little bit of that increased, maybe add a little bit more of it into the reflection there, but watch, just from that to that, right? It just gives that little bit of extra something there. I do want to make the grid stand out a little bit more there, but I don't want to fully lighten the black values, so I have to make sure I keep them kind of anchored. So that should do it. Yeah, there we go. All right, make those feathers, the grid stand out. We can hit a little bit of that. There we go. Too much. So I'm just going to back off the opacity on that because I still want the head to be the main thing there. All right, so throw a dodge layer on. I'm going to put some of that right through this here just to make, again, that wake line stand out a little bit more. And then let's add that color. So I'm going to throw a ton of blue in there on it. And we're just going to kind of neon that, that wake line there. And honestly, I should be able to just paint right through it and not have to be accurate because everything else is so black, it's not going to pick up color. So that's a little bit too kind of blue. I want it to be a little bit more cyan. So that seems more like the color, and now it's too much. So then big soft brush, and then I'll just kind of come through and fade it out a little bit in some areas. There we go. All right, I think we are done with this image. So let you look at that full screen. Let's look at it in Lightroom in a second. So let me hit save. And oh boy, you know what? Last thing I just noticed now as I was looking at it again, I feel like I'm seeing a little bit of green right in there. So let me just throw in a magenta correction and just paint a little bit of that in right there. Probably a little too much, so I'll move the point back up. There we go. That should work. All right, let's get it saved again. All right, I'll show you the total before and after in just a minute. If you want to see exactly how I did what I did in this video and learn with me, rayhennessy.com, head to the workshops, go to the online workshops menu, and then a remote session is a great way to learn directly with me one-on-one. I'll show you step by step how I did what I did in this video. We can use your photos, which is even better, and I'm an open book. I'll answer any questions. I do have other online options. You can check them all out right here, so I'm not going to waste your time talking about them all right now. The other thing I'd love to mention is I have a lot of free content coming out all the time. An interview show, a fun chat with my friends. We have a blast on this one. This one, the photographer's favorites, me and another photographer share other photographers' photos, talk all about them, and then the really fun Wild Conversation show, which is a live YouTube show, comes out once a month. So check all that stuff out. You can head on over to my website, just go to the podcast menu, and then you can go down to all shows or choose any one of those podcasts. All right, so over to Lightroom. Here's the total before and after, and you can see how much better that bird stands out. The color is cleaner. We got that nice blue line going. Background is nice and clean, so we go from that to that, right? Nothing major change there, right? Still really keeping the intent, but just kind of clean up those areas. And then I'll show you this one all on black here. There we go. Look at that. Nice dramatic photo. I'm real happy with that one. So hope you guys enjoyed this edit. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.